Bony landmarks help us know exactly where we are on the body. They act as clear reference points, guiding our hands through palpation, assessment, and treatment. When you can confidently find these bony landmarks, it becomes much easier to find muscles, understand how joints move, and apply techniques safely. Without them, you're guessing. With them, you're working with purpose and accuracy. I'm going to be drawing some anatomy around the shoulder, so the bony landmarks. The first thing I'm going to have a little feel for is the end of the clavicle. So the end of the clavicle is here before we get to the sternum. So I'm just going to draw the top section of the sternum, which is called the manubrium. So the sternum is made up of 3 bones. So I'm just drawing that top section. The clavicle then comes down and attaches just to this point here. Right, so now I've got a clavicle here, and it's this one. You can see the clavicle is a bit of an S-shaped bone. And it's chunkier down that end and flatter at that end. So it just fits in nicely like so. It's the only horizontal long bone of the body. The end of the clavicle I can feel is just here. So we've got a slight S shape before it goes a little bit flatter here. So we've got the sternal end and we've got the acromial end. Now we've got a lot of soft tissue in the way here, but what I really want to show is the front surface of the scapula, which would sit on the rib cage at the back. But there's a point I do want to show, which would look similar to this if we're looking right through the pecs and as though we're looking onto the back wall of the thorax. Now there is a particular part of the scapula, this hook of bone. Now this would be on this side here, and the way to find it, you come along the clavicle and then you drop down and there will be that little bony ridge. So try it on yourself and try and find that area, and what you're doing is you're palpating that point. Now that point, as I've drawn it, would be around here, and that is the coracoid process. From the edge of the clavicle here, we have the acromion process. Now the acromion process comes right round the shoulder onto the back. So I'm going to draw it there at the point of the shoulder. So that's the acromion process of the scapula and the ridge of the shoulder here. From here, we're going to draw the top of the humerus, which would sit like so. And the humerus and the scapula together would form the main shoulder joint, the glenohumeral joint. So let's just have your palm forward there. And the humerus is the whole upper arm bone, which comes up, and it has a slightly enlarged area on the outside, on the lateral aspect. That's the greater tubercle of the humerus. Then there is a little groove that lies down the humerus like so. And then on the inside edge, there's a lesser tubercle. And then that would form the joint at the top. So that is our humerus. We're not going to draw the elbow end. We've got a greater tubercle, a lesser tubercle, and this bicipital groove where the bicep tendon would run through. On the humerus here, we can see where the deltoid comes in, and the deltoid would attach to the humerus in this indentation. Well, the part of the bone it attaches to is a very mild ridge like so on a bone called the deltoid tuberosity. So that would be the attachment point for the deltoid muscle. On the front surface of the scapula, which I'd say that one is on that side, but can you see how it's indented? Now an indentation on a bone is called a fossa. So this area here would be the subscapular fossa. When we have a look at muscles, that tells us where the subscapularis attaches to. So 3 main shoulder joints. We've got the clavicle here and its attachment to the sternum, the manubrium at the top. So this is our Sternoclavicular joint. The other end of the clavicle, we have the Acromioclavicular joint. And that's often a point of injury. And then we have the main joint of the shoulder where the head of the humerus fits into the glenoid fossa, and that is the glenohumeral joint, and that is the main joint for movement. Let's have a look on our client. Let's come around this way. So on our client we have the sternoclavicular joint right here, And the other end we have the Acromioclavicular joint. And where the head of the humerus fits into the socket, that would be our glenohumeral joint. And the glenohumeral joint is responsible for most of the shoulder movement. So one particularly would be abduction and adduction and flexion forward and extension. So we're seeing how the main movement comes from that ball and socket joint. Let me show you here how that fits. So we've got that ball and socket joint, which is a very flexible joint of the body. Now we're looking at the posterior part of the shoulder joint. I have a bit of Acromion Process here that I drew from earlier. If we carry on that round and have a feel of my client, can you see my fingers going over that ridge of bone? Now what I'm actually going over here, if we have a look, is this. And this is the spine of the scapula. So I want you to feel the spine of the scapula on yourself. Okay, and we're extending that Acromion Process round. Where does it go to? It goes to about here. So it's a long ridge of bone. Now from that, we can draw the superior angle of the scapula. And underneath, we're coming down this line. If you put your hand behind your back so we can see and relax, can we see that line there as it comes down to the bottom point? Just relax your arm again for me. Okay, so there's the bottom part of the scapula, and that's the medial border. The medial border. This bottom point of the scapula is the inferior angle. And then we can trace that up. There's lots of muscles in the way here, but we can trace that up to the shoulder joint. Now the shoulder joint itself here is the Glenoid Fossa. So that is the socket. And we have the lateral border of the scapula going up to that. So on the back of the scapula here, we've got this indentation, and that is the Infraspinous Fossa. So that gives us an idea of the muscle that's going to be on the infraspinatus. On the top here, we've got this indentation, and a muscle sits in there nicely. That is the Supraspinous Fossa, so that indentation there for the supraspinatus. I'm going to draw now the humerus. So the humerus we know is the only upper arm bone as it comes up to the top. And the head of the humerus makes that joint there at the top. So this is now a back view of the glenohumeral joint. This little point here, which we can see the bottom of the socket, just have a look at the socket. That's the glenoid fossa. And at the very bottom here is the infraglenoid tubercle. Now when we come to muscles, the tricep, long head, will attach onto that infraglenoid tubercle. And infra means below the glenoid fossa or below the socket. There's a point at the top here, just at the top ridge, the supraglenoid tubercle, and that's the attachment for the long head of the biceps. And thank you for watching.